Hey everybody! Well, it's flying time again, and this time we got a little bit of a late start. I was out there real early. These flights are typically we start around 9 a.m. and usually I'm in the air, by 9:15, 9:20 or so. This time we had to wait for the fog to lift. It was really foggy out, so we didn't actually get in the air until a little after 10, which of course severely cut into my flying time. But safe than sorry, right? This time we decided to, just because due to time constraints, because that really cut into my time, that we were just going to do 4 landings, and then he had another guy coming out at 11. So here I am doing my 4 landings, and I went into this one and I told him, I said, I'm going to pretend like you're not here. I don't want you to help me at all. I want you to basically just be there in case I'm going to get in trouble. Otherwise, I want you to let me do everything. And the funny thing is, it turned out to be the 4 best landings I've done to date. For whatever reason, things were really clicking on this flight, and I'm surprised it worked out really well. It's cool. Here's the first one.
Western Carolina, Cessna 086, turn final for runway 26, Western Carolina.
I feel my altitude was just right. I was keeping my sight picture coming in. I had a good turn. I turned base a little late, but it actually turned out to be perfect, and that's where I started doing it from then on. I was really super happy. It's weird. My first landing was the best one until the last landing, weirdly.
Bless you, sir. Bless you.
See there to the left, I got 1 white, 1 red, which means I'm right in line with where I want to be. Doing the best I can here to keep the runway sight picture exactly the same as I descend. Not afraid to fly down to the runway. Remember, that was a thing that I was having a problem with before, is, not flying down to the runway, but rather trying to pancake down, which doesn't work. So, yeah, this worked out really well, actually. And then transition to a nice flat, and then begin to pull up.
I ballooned it. I do that every damn time. Alright, flaps up. Back on the center line here. Alrighty. Flaps are up and off we go.
And yeah, I do tend to balloon a little bit. It's one of those things that I don't know if I overreact or if I'm not subtle yet, and that's just something that comes with time or something with this aircraft. Who knows? It's one of those things that, I'll solve eventually. I'm not terribly worried about it. That landing was actually very smooth, despite the little bit of teeny balloon that I did there. I wish I had an external camera, one of those like the solo shots or something that can actually, or someone on the ground actually filming me as I come in so I can see it from the outside. That would be incredibly cool. I may go out there one of these days and just set up a camera to film down the runway and see what I get. I have no idea if it would be, good footage or terrible footage. I have no idea, but it'd be interesting to see, if nothing else. Plus, out here, I don't really think anyone's gonna make off with the camera or anything like that. This area is pretty much nothing but good folks. I don't have to worry about theft or anything. Here comes number 2. And in this one, you can see again. I took a really long base turn, so lots of time to get down to altitude. One of the problems I was having previously is I was always super, super high, and so that's no longer a problem. Now, something I didn't notice was that there's been a headwind slowly building on us, and it's been, pushing me backwards, which I will discover on my next flight. I didn't balloon this time.
Not as good. Alright. You want to go back? Oh, just center line. Oh, I thought you were done. Alright, flaps are back up, and off we go.
Yeah, that center line's my bane. I can't always land right on it. I'll get it eventually, but sometimes I get blown one way or the other. That, by the way, was also a clue about the headwind. This valley that I fly out of is interesting in that, there's 26 and 08, and as a general rule, the wind's always running right down 26. Really handy for learning, but you don't get to learn a lot of crosswind landings, I have to go somewhere else for that. And we've covered it a little bit, but we've not gone into super big depth yet on that one. I can't wait to do that because that's going to be good training, and it's definitely something I look forward to doing. Here comes this landing. You can see I'm a little low. In fact, I mean, from here, just before I cut the camera there, it was 2 reds. So I had to give it a little bit of power to get me back up in the air so I get that white and red. And then once we're on white and red, that's good. I don't want to rely on that if I don't have to. It's one of those things I want to rely on the sight picture, and I can definitely tell on my sight picture, ignoring the colors, that I am low. And I even say as much later, and I think here...
That time I came in a little low. A little side load there, damn it.
So not horrible, not the end of the world. Got the plane down, and my flight instructor was just sitting there bored. True to my wishes, he did not say anything. I explained to him a couple times that it was a state of mind thing, that I wanted to do this without him being there, because even though he was sitting there, I wanted to have this mental image of him not being there so that I had to only rely on myself. And I think he found that kind of amusing. But I think it's really easy to just fall back on the notion that, if I get in trouble, he's there, he'll save me. Whereas that's not a good way to practice, right? Practice as you actually fight. And in this case, he's not going to always be there. So I need to learn this stuff and not rely on somebody like that. I mean, it's just not a good idea. So here we go. I'm coming in again. I believe this is my last landing, and this one even impressed my flight instructor because it just kind of was real smooth.
Oh, golly.
How's that for a reaction? Yeah, it was a nice smooth landing. I mean, you could just barely feel the wheels touch. It was perfect. I hope to do a lot more of those. So there you go, guys. Good times. I'm having a hell of a lot of fun with this. For whatever reason, like I said in the beginning, this flight really clicked. He's really keen on me soloing, and he said probably next week that's what I'll be doing. Hopefully I won't forget my camera mount. That's why you don't see the lower left camera again. Sorry, guys. I just, sometimes my brain, I'd forget it too. So, yeah, can't wait, and look forward to it. See you guys.